She married him when he was poor, and threw him out when he couldn't feed her luxury. But years later, when he walked back into her life, it wasn't to win her back. It was to buy everything her family owned. In the golden haze of a West African sunset, a young man named Kweku stood outside the gates of a lavish estate, gripping a plastic folder stuffed with blueprints. His palms were sweaty, not just because of the heat, but because of what waited behind those iron gates. Ama Mensah, the only daughter of Chief Mensah, the wealthiest cocoa exporter in the region, had a smile that could melt the hardest hearts. She was beauty, grace, and fire all in one. The villagers often whispered that she was too high above Kweku, a mere architecture student living in a single-room apartment with leaky ceilings. But love, as fate always reminds us, doesn't care about class. They met at a youth summit in Accra. She was a keynote speaker for women's empowerment. He was just a volunteer carrying water bottles. She'd tripped over a wire backstage, and Kweku had caught her. Literally. Their eyes met, a spark lit, and that was all it took. From that day, their bond grew in secret. They spent evenings walking along the beach, talking about the future, dreams, and how love could conquer all. Kweku dreamed of owning a design firm. Ama wanted to build schools for girls in rural areas. For a moment in time, they were each other's world. But worlds built on secrets tend to collapse. When Ama told her father she wanted to marry Kweku, Chief Mensah nearly choked on his cigar. That pauper. That dreamer who draws buildings but can't afford a brick. Over my dead body. Ama, stubborn like her mother, stood firm. I love him, Papa. And so, reluctantly, the chief agreed. But only after seeing Kweku beg, kneel, and promise to take care of his daughter, even with his empty pockets. Their wedding was small. Nothing like the opulent ceremonies the chief had imagined. No flashy cars. No gold-threaded gowns. Just a modest church hall filled with hope. And two people who truly believed love would be enough. But life outside dreams is unforgiving. The first year was beautiful. Full of laughter, late-night talks, and endless plans. But dreams don't pay rent. Kweku couldn't land clients. His ideas were brilliant, but without money or connections, no one gave him a chance. Ama, used to luxury, tried to adjust, but she missed the silk bedsheets, the weekend getaways, the soft life. The second year brought tension. Ama had to take a job at her father's foundation. She came home tired and irritable. The once romantic dinners turned into silent meals. Then arguments started, tiny ones at first, then bigger. You said we'd build an empire, Kweku. Where is it? I'm trying, Ama. I just need more time. You always need more time. Time doesn't pay bills. Her father's words haunted her. Love without money is a song without a melody. It happened on a rainy Thursday. Kweku came home soaked, holding a rolled-up design for a resort he had pitched to an investor. He was excited, hopeful. Ama didn't even look up from her phone. I might have landed the hotel gig at Volta Lake, he said. She replied coldly. Even if you do, it won't make you rich overnight. Kweku's smile faded. Why are you like this lately, Ama? You want the truth, she snapped, standing up. I'm tired, Kweku. Tired of this life. Tired of scraping by. I'm immense. I wasn't born for struggle. He looked at her, truly looked, and realized something in her had changed. Then why did you marry me? Because I was stupid. 'Cause I thought love would be enough. But it's not. I want a divorce. His heart broke in that moment, but she didn't flinch. She packed her bags the next day and returned to her father's mansion. Kweku spiraled after the divorce. He lost weight, grew quiet. He stopped drawing. For months, he lived like a ghost, floating from job to job, barely getting by. Then one day, he received a call from an old professor who'd always believed in him. There's a tech investor from Lagos looking to develop sustainable housing across West Africa. I told him about you. It was a spark. That one deal became 2. Then 4. Then 8. Kweku worked day and night, pouring his pain into blueprints. He partnered with environmental engineers, created a firm called NSU Yi-Fi. Water is Home, focusing on eco-friendly, affordable housing. Within 5 years, he wasn't just successful. He was a rising star across Africa's real estate industry. He built luxury apartments in Ghana, resorts in Zanzibar, and housing estates in Kenya. Money came. Recognition followed. So did power. But he never forgot Amma, or how she left him in the storm. One humid afternoon in Accra, Kweku sat in his glass office overlooking the sea when his assistant walked in. "Sir, you should see this," she said, handing him a report. Chief Mensah's cocoa export company, once an African giant, was crumbling. Corruption, poor leadership, and market competition had drained its power. The chief was looking for a buyer. Kweku stared at the name on the paper. Mensah Group Ltd. He didn't smile. He didn't blink. He just said, "Call the board. I want to make an offer." 3 black SUVs pulled up to the gates of the once mighty Mensah estate. Chief Mensah stood at the top of the steps, his face older, more worn, but still painted with the arrogance of a man who once ruled. He watched curiously as the convoy doors opened. Stepped Kweku, not in worn sandals or with blueprints in a plastic folder. This time, he wore a perfectly tailored navy blue suit. His shoes cost more than Amma's bridal gown. His watch ticked louder than the silence on the estate. Chief Mensah squinted. "You?" Kweku smiled faintly. "Good afternoon, Chief. I believe you've been looking for a buyer." The chief's lips parted slightly. You're the investor. I'm the man your daughter once left for being poor." Inside the mansion's conference room, the atmosphere was tense. Chief Mensah's board members sat on edge, whispering as Kweku and his legal team laid out the takeover proposal. It was clean, strategic, ruthless. Kweku wasn't just buying the company, he was stripping it, restructuring it, rebranding it. The board had no choice. The chief had no leverage. The company was drowning, and Kweku was the only lifeboat. When the signing was complete, the chief leaned over the table, eyes blazing. "You think money makes you powerful?" Kweku met his gaze. "No. But now I understand why you respect it so much." Before he left, he turned to the board and added, "From today, Mensah Group is now NSU Cocoa Holdings. Let's give it a future." It was a week after the acquisition when Kweku saw her. She was standing in the lobby of his Accra headquarters. Her posture still graceful, her hair still glossy, but her face, it held regret. She approached slowly. "You bought my father's company." "Yes," he replied simply. "Why?" He looked her straight in the eye. "You told me I'd never be enough. I wanted to prove to myself that I was more than your judgment." There was a pause. "I didn't come to fight," she said softly. "I came because I've been thinking about us." He didn't answer. "I made a mistake, Kweku. I thought I needed a man who had it all. I didn't realize I had him when I had you." His expression remained calm. "People change, Amma. That's life. I never stopped loving you." He looked at her, truly looked, and for the first time in years, he saw the woman he once dreamed with, the one who used to laugh under the stars with him. But that woman had left him when it mattered. "I'm not the man you loved," he said finally. "And you're not the woman I needed." In the weeks that followed, rumors swirled. Some said Amma tried to win him back. Others claimed she begged her father to stop the sale. But it didn't matter. Kweku didn't seek revenge. He sought growth. He had used the pain of abandonment to fuel his rise. Now he was a man of influence, respected across industries. Not because of his wealth, but because of his vision. He didn't crush the Mensahs. He revived the company and hired local farmers on better wages. He opened a school under the company's new CSR program, Amma's original dream. Quietly and without applause, he fulfilled what they once planned together. But he never took her back. Some wounds heal, but the scars remain. Years later, Kweku stood on a TEDx stage in Lagos. The theme was, "What defines a man?" He spoke calmly. People think success is about revenge. That proving someone wrong is the same as proving yourself right. But I learned the hard way it's not. Real success is becoming the version of yourself that even your past wouldn't recognize. Not for others, for you. In the crowd, unnoticed, Alma sat in the last row. Tears slid silently down her cheeks. She had married a dreamer once. And kicked him out when he had nothing. Now he was the dream others wanted to become. But he had moved on. On the same hill where the Mensa estate once stood, a new mansion now overlooked the cocoa fields. Inside, Kweku walked hand in hand with his wife, Adwoa, a brilliant engineer who had stood beside him through the darkest phases of his growth. She wasn't a princess. She was a partner. Their daughter ran through the halls, laughter echoing through the marble floors. Kweku stood by the window, watching the sunset. Not with bitterness. Not with regret. Just gratitude for the lessons, the losses, and the love that truly stayed.